I bet it would help if I put my mic on while I talked. Oh my gosh. Well, hello, everyone. How are you doing this Wednesday morning or afternoon if you're Shadow Smith out there? Because I know Shadow's not in the same time zone as me. What's up, everyone? How are you all doing today? We are waiting for CPI data to dump. The dump comes at 8:30, and we will get the data. And as soon as we get the data, don't worry, we will be sharing it with you. All right, let's take a look at things. We got Tin Booty saying, yo, what's up, Tin? How are you doing? Shadow's in the house. Sniff is here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of freedom. I'll give you a little Duke Nukem here. It's time to kick ass and chew gum, but I'm all out of gum. Now, a little Duke Nukem for you there, Sniff. Here we go. Shadow's in the house. 30 minutes. That's right, Tin Bui. We are seeing CPI data come out. It's a big one. It's a big one because Powell wants to drop the hammer on the quarter. Powell wants to. He's looking for reasons to drop the quarter. Now, there's been some political pressure put on Powell, which we've seen recently, to kind of back off a little bit. The problem is that housing has not come down. And that's the scariest thing about it. And what scares me more than anything is if we have another repeat, okay? So here's what happened, all right? The last CPI data came out nice and juicy. You could see it up on the screen. We dropped from 4.9 to 4. That's good news. Within the CPI data report, though, the problem that we had was shelter. Shelter was the largest contributor to the monthly all items increase, followed by an increase in the index for used cars and trucks. So housing is the number one cost, and honestly, this is across the globe right now as an average. Housing is the number one expense for families, right? Their biggest bill that they got. Now, if housing doesn't come down, like, naturally, right, because of, high prices, high interest rates and all that kind of stuff, then Jerome Powell is definitely going to have to hit us with another quarter. The problem is, though, is as we're looking at housing, there's just not a lot of supply on the market. And if there's not a lot of supply on the market, but the demand is still there, not as big as it used to be a couple of years ago, but if the demand is still there and the supply isn't there, you're going to have a lot of oomph for housing price. A lot. That's the scary thing. Back to the comments. Mark Syntax says, good morning, Klaus and all the crypto family. Hoping for good news this morning. You bet your butt, Mark. We are definitely hoping it. We're in positive vibe mode today. Do you know why we're in positive vibe mode today? You guys can thank Shadow Smith out there. PD Pure chiming in with us. What's up, PD Pure? Good morning back to you, broski. How are you doing this morning? Besides the fact that the heat and humidity have sunk in here and it is like hot, swampy weather. Oh my gosh, are we experiencing nasty, nasty weather here out by me. So we got PD Pure, Mark, Sniff, Shadow chiming in the house. CPI data, all right, is big. Now, will it be big, say, 6 months from now? Probably not. I don't think we're going to have to worry about CPI 6 months from now. By then, Jerome's already done his hits. By then, we're going into kind of more, recession fears, more realized recession fears. Sniff says the things that really matter, like food, real food, yeah, and housing will always go up, it seems. It was weird, Sniff, and I'm just going to make a comment, all right? And I'll help you out, Sniff. What shocked me was the pure stupidity that happened to global leadership. All right, during the pandemic. You saw common sense thrown out the window. Let's close down gyms, which gyms make you healthier because exercising. Let's keep people in their homes where the air is recirculated and rebreathed in. We get all that. But economically, these people made some bad decisions, and we're dealing with that now. So, Sniff, how, we've talked in these last few about how, prices of things just being astronomical. A lot of it, too, has to do with corporate greed. Corporate greed is still keeping prices up rather than a lot of these corporations sitting here going, hey, you know what? We're going to fix our costs. We're going to fix this, and this. Nah, they just passed it on to the consumer. So we've seen a lot of messiness with corporate greed. Messy Leo says, good day. How much do we expect today? I would love for a CPI report really close to 3.0. More importantly, though, when we click on the data, what I'm looking for is give me 1 second here. Let me get to the right screen. What I'm looking for more than anything is to start seeing more of these come down. New vehicles still need to come down in price. New vehicles are still way too high. Let's see here. Give me a second. Shadow Smith says, but they were bad decision, Klaus, or something else. Yeah, it was. They were all bad decisions. And that's what bothers me, is we're still dealing with bad decisions right now from crappy non-scientific based judgment just a couple years ago. And in fact, do you guys remember when the Fed was talking to Congress, when all this inflation stuff started happening? This was when the pandemic first started. And you remember when Congress was like, inflation and the Fed, they were all like, inflation is going to be transitory. Don't worry about it. As soon as it pops up, it's going to come right back down. We'll be done with it. No big deal. Well, here we are dealing with it more and more and more. Now, Shadow Smith knows what's up. Ben knows what's up. A lot of the UK fans know what's up. The UK is dealing with insane inflation. That's way worse than the US. And the UK people were told too. Boris said to the UK people, hey, inflation will be transitory. We believe around the globe it will be transitory. So no, it's not what's happened. It's been a total mess. I'm on the opinion it could have been done with a purpose. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But the advisors were so full of shit too, Smith, and that's the problem. And the problem was because we weren't dealing with things scientifically and so forth, it just created a mess. Now, the mess that it created, though, was that we had a big, and this is where I'm going with this, the mess that it created was we had a big oomph in housing. Housing exploded, all right? And let's do that. Let's put up St. Louis Fed housing, all right? I want to show you the housing report real quick. So we're going to go to the St. Louis Fed for housing. All right, let me see. Give me a second here. I want to find existing home sales. All right, so this is existing home sales. Let's see if I can zoom this out just a little bit more here. Give me a second here, guys. So I'm trying to get the right chart. There's a chart I want to see for home price. Fed housing home price. I want to see if I can find that specific report, home price index. I think this is the right one. Let's see, which one do I need? Schiller National Home Price Index. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. So here's the deal. When the pandemic happened, housing just got blown through the roof. All right? You're looking at an average price $215, all right? Shooting up to over $3. It's a 50% increase in a year. So now that 50% increase, they thought it was going to come right back down to here. That did not happen with housing. So in all of these reports, when they're in here and we're saying, hey, the index for shelter was our largest contributor to all monthly food items increase, that's the big concern. A lot of other stuff has gone down. Energy is going down, still higher than what it should be. Food has gone down, still higher than what it should be. Drinks, beverages, still higher than what it should be. Transportation, shelter, see, it's high everywhere. It's crazy. So what we're dealing with is unusually high prices for extended time. Speaking of extended time, Shadow Smith lets us know, they're saying our food prices will be high for 15 years. 15 years. And part of the problem with that, and this is part of the problem that Europe is facing right now, is the energy costs because of the Russia-Ukraine action going on. Germany was hit. I believe I saw a stat that said it was like 800% increase in price. 800% increase in energy prices. And are people making 800% more? Are the wages 800% better? Are we saving 800% somewhere else? No, we're not. It's just people are getting raked over the coals with this stuff. But let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Are we almost done with inflation data being a big problem for the market here? Or do we got more left? Jerome Powell, European Central Bank, along with the UK, have all said more rates are coming. End of story. They all said it. They said more rates are coming and expect more than what we originally thought. I don't know. I'm hoping we're done with this here in the next several months. I'm hoping by the time we get into the Christmas season, we have a better idea of what we're looking at in terms of, hey guys, we've dealt with it, we're done with it. Yeah, we're going to have some pop-ups here and there for random spots in the market, but we're good with this. Think about it, energy prices are going down. Oil has been going down quite heavily. Why is oil going down? Global recession fears, right? The global recession fears, all right, is that we're going to have less demand, less building, less growth, recession. So if we have less building, growth, demand, and recession, all that stuff, less need for oil. That's why you're seeing oil be soft right now. So recession fears can pull the market down just as strong as high inflation concerns. Because to combat high inflation, what do we have to do? We had to raise rates. When you raise rates a lot, you can screw up jobs, which can create recession issues. 15 years, I thought about 5. It's coming from Tracy. Smith says, true or not, that's a shocking thing to say to a population. I think more is left to come. Yeah, I don't think we're done with this yet. Smith, one of the things that I heard, and again, I don't know how the politics were out there versus here, but one of the things we heard during the pandemic when we were getting out of it was that they wanted to lock us down again for green energy reasons, for, putting carbon positivity in. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to soften the amount of fossil fuels that we're using. Like, let's go into lockdown so that we're not driving, we're not blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, that whole spiel, right? That's scary stuff. So, yeah, I think we do still have some action coming to us. It's just what the action is, who the hell knows? But right now, we are sitting at 8:10 a.m. CPI data will come out in 20 minutes. Got the price of XRP up on the screen. By the way, got some XRP news I got to share with you guys and gals. Tracy's here. We've also got the price of XLM up on the screen. Said it in the video yesterday regarding XLM. Hey, if we don't break out of this 10-cent move here soon, especially with data today, I don't know. It's going to be kind of soft. It's going to be kind of tough. XLM having a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Trying to break through that 10-cent mark. Tried, did not happen. PD Pure says, oil be soft sounds like a hair product. Yeah, oil be soft, that's what we use down here. That kind of keeps the hair nice, while the humidity's up there real high. Ben says a controlled reopening. Tracy's chiming in saying, I'm sure they'll try to do the lockdown again. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we learned. Anything is possible, right? I mean, anything is possible. And this weird anything is possible approach led to a lot of fear, okay? So when there was a lot of fear, all right, and when there was a lot of worry that we were going to be locked up in our homes, and when people had nothing to do and you had stimmy checks, money printer go burn, people gambled, YOLO. Hate saying it, but it's like they YOLO'd it. Very different time. Think about it. You're locked up in your house. You ain't got shit to do. You got money coming in from the government left and right. And this wasn't just the U.S. There were governments all over the world going money printer go brr. So you got nothing to do. They closed down everything. They gave you a shitload of money. There were no sports to gamble on, right? Sports were pretty much shut down. So what did people do? They gambled on crypto. That's exactly what happened. All the horse racing, the gambling stuff, casinos were shut down, and people still had that itch. So the people that were casino gamblers, horse gamblers, people sitting at home bored, people that kind of dipped their toes a little bit in the financial water, they were like, you know what? Let's do some crypto. And boom, then you saw this craziness happen here. Now, as we've opened up, as we've kind of seen, okay, well, wait a minute, government pressure, we got it, right? You've seen things soften. Mark says, I agree, more left of this crap manipulation. I'm with you, Mark. Be ready for it. Be ready for it. We saw, and for those of you out there that aren't familiar with what happened, the problem we had was that they even manipulated the regular stock market. Do you remember when like GameStop and the movie theater one? I'm blanking out on that at the moment. But GameStop and the movie theater one. And you remember how like all of a sudden like people couldn't like get out of GameStop? They could only buy, they couldn't sell. Like, and they had all this funny business going on. So I mean, they even manipulated that. I mean, Name another instance out there where someone has created a liquidity issue for a stock that was trading so roaringly popular that they couldn't keep up with it. Oh, God. Ashley says, I still think we have a year left of this crap. Oh. Tracy says, I don't think we've seen anything yet. We may have another 6 months tops before everything rears its ugly head. So then let me ask you all this. Do you think you're going to have AMC? Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it was GameStop, AMC, and that was just a mess. So there was manipulation there. Now, what is everyone's thoughts, though, on what this Christmas is going to be like? Christmas season, right? Because if you don't have a big retail Christmas season because everything is so expensive, and now you've got people paying more for home loans, home equity lines of credit, car loans, all this stuff, right? That's a big problem. That's a real big problem. Because then it goes back to that softness. So if we, and Tracy, this is for you. Because Tracy's like, hey, look, 6 months, we might rear its ugly head. If you have soft Christmas sales numbers, because a lot of retail companies wait for that Christmas sales season. Big shout out to PD Pure, everyone. Let's give PD Pure a big thank you for supporting the channel. Mucho appreciated, PD Pure. But if we do get a very soft Christmas sales season, that will be bad because companies wait for it. There are so many companies that make hay during November and December. Tons of companies make hay November and December. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tracy. If we get some bad Christmas action, bad sales data for Christmas, that could definitely trigger that whole recession alarm. Definitely. And again, big shout out to PD Pure for supporting the channel. Thank you much, sir. True Ducal chimes in. Good morning, Klaus. Ooh, sorry. I haven't been able to catch you lately. Missed you guys. True Ducal, that's because I have been sweating my ass off here in the foothills, roasting with like 90+% humidity, running outside in 90+ degrees. It's crazy. It is crazy, True. So yes, for those of you who don't know, True Ducal lives fairly close to me. We're in the foothills up here in the Appalachians. And, yeah, we have had hot, humid, gross weather. It has been really bad. Really, really bad. Shadow Smith chimes in. They've chosen to loosen the grip for Christmas. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Economically and to keep the people happy before, well, who knows? Very true. Ben says brick and mortar getting shellacked will make better. It will make the physical dollar suffer. They want tracked online sales. Yeah, and Ben, something to think about that, too, is not only is it that brick and mortar is having problems, but think of the situations that have caused brick and mortar to have problems. Again, if you're in the United States, these references are going to make sense, okay? If they're not, I'm sorry. Well, I can do some international ones, too. Think of Kohl's, JCPenney, Walmart. Go into any of those three stores. There's a lot of open space. A lot of open space. Kohl's is one of the worst ones. Same thing with JCPenney. When you go inside their stores, they are empty. Why? They don't need the space anymore. So in terms of brick and mortar, yeah, you're definitely seeing brick and mortar shrinkage. Now, we also saw that with restaurants. In fact, okay, in the South, we didn't have as many closures as like the rest of the country. We stayed fairly well open here in the South. What happened, though, is a lot of the restaurants that started building by me after started building smaller dining rooms and just doing takeout or to-go service. So even the restaurants are changing their model to not have as big a dining rooms because they don't want the fear of, oh, crap, we might get locked down again. We might lose our jobs, our money, blah, 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 blah. It was a whole industry. Hospitality industry completely wiped out by the pandemic. Hotels, entertainment, food, wiped out. Check out the Tartaria theory. Hold on. I'm going to text myself that, Smith, so I can check it out because I am not familiar with it. So give me a second here. I'm going to write myself a little note to the Tartaria theory. Thank you, Smith, for chiming that out. I've got a note for myself here. But yeah, it's brick and mortars getting pounded. Everything is going more digital. Everything is going to more of a warehouse supply chain system, right? People aren't stocking inventory in their own facilities. It's direct shipment from warehouses. So you're even seeing like intermediary brick and mortar facilities taking the heat. Shopping. I mean, let's be real here. Food shopping. That was a big change too. Look at your Walmarts now. They're still doing quite a few, right? Outside deliveries, curbside pickups. So the business models have really changed during this whole pandemic. And what's really kind of caught me off guard here was that a lot of people, and I specifically remember stories mostly in New York. We heard a lot about them in New York, where restaurant owners just had to close their doors, man. We had to close the doors. And a lot of those restaurants in New York ate through their savings, and now they're not open anymore. They're just not open. In fact, like even out by me, okay, and I'm very rural, we're still having problems out here filling in jobs. It's crazy. I mean, think about it. We're still dealing with labor shortages out here. In fact, some of my favorite restaurants, like in, bar and grill places that I like to go to, my wife and I have stopped going on weekdays because they have shitty staff. Seriously, they save their best staff for the weekends because that's like when everyone comes in. They used to be busy during some of the weekdays, but they're not anymore. So now they don't even have their B team on the weekend or weekdays. They got their C team. Tracy says, Klaus, we fall in the generation that grew up paying attention to detail due to us pretty much raising ourselves. We can see what's coming in and about how long. I think by January 1st we'll know up or down. Tracy, that was a very astute observation. I think Tracy's going to get the gold star so far this morning. Because you're right, Tracy. We grew up paying attention, and we also grew up needing to know why, right? I mean, how many of us, right, are on our phones and then boom, the alert goes off, and we're like, whoa, what happened here? And whether the alert is Facebook, Instagram, Google News, you know what I'm saying? But we're tuned into it. In a lot of the videos that I do, you hear me talk about the why. The why. I did a story yesterday, and the story yesterday was about a crypto firm, AlgoFi. Algorand's biggest layer 1 DeFi system, $33 million, I think is in there, is shutting down. We want to know why. Why are you shutting down? Are you shutting down because volume sucks and you're not making money? Are you shutting down because of SEC scrutiny? Are you shutting down because your coders inside have rugged a lot of money? Like, tell us why. We want to know why so that we can better fix it, so we can better understand it. So, Tracy, you're right. Very different. Very different. And not only, Tracy, are we searching for the why and want to know the why, we actively have access to it 24/7. So we're not only looking for the why, Tracy, we're looking for the why all the time. And what happens is, and I'm so glad you brought this up. Seriously, Tracy gets a gold star. What happens is then, when we see like a price bump up, we're asking ourselves, why? Why is the price, right? Why is this doing it? And if we don't see news with it, we're all like, okay, we get it, fake pump. Because there's no why. Tracy, you're exactly right. We are the why generation, and we want to know details. Remember back in the day, my parents' generation, I remember this because I started working, when they were younger and when they were in charge. My parents' generation at work, they said, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And you'd be like, well, why? Doesn't matter. This is how we do it. And you're sitting there going, yeah, but like if I understood why, maybe I could understand the process better and we could fix it. Doesn't matter. This is how you do it. This is how we do it. This is how we've done it for 20 years. Why? Slicksy says, do you think gold is a buy? Here's my thing with gold. Everyone knows here I'm a big gold bull. I buy and sell and trade gold and gold derivatives 24/7. When the gold market is hot, I hammer it. And when she pops and drops, I leave. Here's let's do this, okay? I'm going to show you something here with gold really quick here. So let's put gold in. All right. So we're going to put gold in. All right. Now, for gold, just to give you my idea, I believe... Ooh, sorry. Man, my throat. Give me 1 second here. Let me add gold in. There we go. All right, now we got gold on the screen. I truly believe that gold is going to hold an elevated level. All right. the elevated level that I believe gold will hold, I think you're going to have a tough time going under 1,700. I really do. And when you do, I think you're going to pop up quick. I think the new floor for gold is much higher than it used to be. Because of what happened with the pandemic, all right, we learned that governments are probably going to not make the best financial decisions. Hence the fact that you can see gold is completely roaring here as all of the monetary policies just went to shit. Now, that being said, I totally broadcasted during this time period that I was selling gold. If you look at my videos, I talk about it. I sold a shitload of gold here. And the reason I sold a shitload of gold here, because I knew the rally wasn't going to last. And I was like, yo, I'm going to cash out and make some coin. I'm going to get back in when this baby starts tasting a little bit tastier. That's what happened. So gold, I like. But be very careful, because right now, every market out there is selling off after rallies. People are taking profits after every freaking rally. Gold is no exception. John says, was nickel manipulated 6 months ago? I'm not too familiar with the nickel market, John. And PD Pure, good job on giving her a star. Thank you much. But yeah, gold and silver is manipulated to paper. Twitch Radio, and if he's watching, shout out to Twitch. Twitch texted me, and he had a stat. It was something crazy like, and I've got it on my phone. I should probably try to see if I have it quick access. But it was something like, for every ounce of silver, there was like 8 ounces of it on paper claimed. Some ridiculous amount like that. I mean, we're all going to have to eat through that. You can't just keep throwing paper at it and playing futures. Sooner or later, you're going to have to cash out on those contracts. Lau says, silver will give you more gains than gold. Thank you, Lau, for chiming in. But yeah, that's the reason why. And what's up, Lau? Saying hello to you, too. Lau says, hey, Klaus, what's up, Lau? And that's why I did. That's why I sold all my gold holdings, because I'm like, yo, this market ain't going to last. So as soon as I saw it pop that 2,000 mark, that was my trigger to sell. That was definitely my trigger to sell. Now, my trigger to buy doesn't happen again until we're sub 19 for a good chunk of time. I won't even entertain re-getting into the gold market until I'm sub 19. Not even, then like sub, like we're talking more like sub 1850 is probably where I'm even thinking of starting a position. And then what happens, and just to give you an idea so that you guys know what I'm talking about. When I start a position, so let's say I'm going to re-enter gold, okay? When I re-enter gold, I'm going to have a price point that I'm going to start my target at. Right now, I'm pretty close to 1850, 1875. As soon as we get to the 1850, 1875, I'm going to start nibbling. As it goes lower, my nibbles get bigger, all right? And so think of that 1850 as my zero mark. So as I go further below that price, my buying pressure increases. So if we're only at 1830, I'm not buying a lot. I'm just little chunks here and there. But now if all of a sudden we have a market scare and we go down to 1700, daddy starts dropping in some bigger money. And I'll do the same thing again. I will do it over and over and over again because rallies are not lasting in the market. I say gold to get silver down the road, but silver is going to give more bartering options. Yeah, silver is very heavily undervalued, and silver is much more favorable in a retail bartering case. You can do a lot more with silver than you can with gold in terms of a retail sense, right? Carrying around a couple ounces of gold, that's very, very expensive. Carrying around a couple ounces of silver, hey, you're good to go. Yeah, and there are premiums, but the silver premiums are pretty rough, though, Century. They're very, very rough. Yeah, oh yeah, John, okay, here's the point from John. John, I'll read it for you, man, I got you. John says, my point was not gold versus silver versus nickel. My point was that nickel was manipulated, and they can manipulate XRP Bitcoin. Yeah, and I agree. And John, I'm totally with you on that. You can manipulate prices really easy of this stuff, okay? One of the things that really gets me is if you look at Coinbase, right? Watch Coinbase, all right? Coinbase, wash trading. Look, I'll just say wash trading. That's all I'm going to say is wash trading. The volume is all fake. And I think the fake volume that you're seeing is the other side of the equation manipulating the price. In fact, One of the videos I'm working on is XRP price manipulation. Think of how many rumors there have been about XRP. XRP is going to win in summary judgment. XRP, blah, blah. It's all been manipulation. Eric chimes in. Klaus, can you give me a rundown on housing prices out your way? Here in California, housing prices are stable, but I see a lot of reports saying Southeast prices are dropping. In the big cities, yes, Eric, prices are dropping. But rurally, they aren't because we don't have supply. We are in a massive, massive supply crunch out here, Eric. Massive supply. We just don't have enough, plain and simple. We do not have enough housing, period. We got 1 minute till CPI data comes in. Previous CPI data came in at 4%. We're going to keep hitting that refresh button until we see what the June numbers come out. I would love to see a June with a 3.1. I would love a June with 3.1, but I need a note. The note I need to see has to be that housing has finally started breaking. I also need to see new car prices start breaking too. That's a big one. I need to see new car prices start breaking. Because think, new cars are expensive. Dealers are holding on to a crap ton of inventory that they can't sell. A lot of high-end stuff. So we got to see the car stuff flip as well. But yeah, Eric, the big problem by me, it's there's no supply in the market. I'll give you, so a couple of years ago, almost like every home was for sale. Oh, here we go. CPI data just came in and we got it. We got 3.0, everyone, up on the screen. In June, consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 0.2% seasonally adjusted and rose 3% over the last 12 months. So we got a massive drop in CPI data. And Eric, when it comes to gold and silver, it's both. It is physical as well as stocks and derivatives too. Ooh, sorry. My chest is a little bit giving me some problems here. But CPI data came in. Here you go. There's your 3.0 right now that came in on CPI data. Everyone, this is looking really good. Now, let's talk, though, about housing, because this is what I'm telling you right now. Watch housing. Here we go. We have a huge problem. Here's the problem. All right. I'm going to read this to you, and this is what I was talking about. So if you were here at the beginning of the stream, you're kicking ass. Heading to work, that's Ben. Thanks, Ben, for hanging out with us. Totally appreciate it. Here we go. Here's the notes for the CPI latest report. The CPI for all urban consumers rose 0.2% June seasonally adjusted basis. 3.0. The index for shelter, here we go, was the largest contributor of all monthly items increase, accounting for 70% of the increase, with motor vehicle insurance also contributing. I'm telling you, cars and housing need to drop. If they don't drop, it doesn't matter how low everything else is, Jerome Powell will come at us. Housing is just too much of a problem. The food index increased 0.1% in June. Let's see. While the food index away from home rose 0.4%. The energy index rose 0.6%. Oh, interesting. Let's take a little deeper look at this, but housing is the big one, everyone. DVR says, greetings and respect from NL. New Zealand? Is that New Zealand? I like that, right? I hope it's New Zealand. I don't know. Maybe New Zealand would be NZ? I don't know. NZ, NL? I don't know. But yeah, let's go to the report. Let's dive in because I really want to check this out. All right, so we're going to click on to food. Food at home is still high, up 4.7%. Okay, food away from home. So you going to places, meal services. Look at that. That is still way high. Let's go food at home. Let's see what's still high. See, cereal still up there. Grain-related products. Netherlands. Well, thank you. Now I feel stupid. I always thought Netherlands was ND. God, bad morning for me. Netherlands. Thank you, DVR. Definitely not New Zealand. No Kiwi action going on. Non-alcoholic beverages still up high. Mark is listening while at work. Good for you, Mark. Keep that productivity up. Other food at home, 7.1. Netherlands is NL. I know. You guys get to rub egg in my face. Food at home, though. Eggs. Where's eggs here? So eggs have gone down. Obviously, we know that. But eggs went up freakishly high. All right, let's get now to energy. Energy commodities have gone down quite a bit. Fuel oil down 36.6. Gas down 26.5. Wow. Wow, so you are seeing the retracement in energy. Now let's start going into here. Fine. I'm sorry, I'm just going through all these different ones here. Shelter is the big one, up 7.8, and transportation up 8.2. Let me see here. Give me a second, everyone. Vehicles, that's the problem. Still, new vehicles are too high. Tobacco is still high at 5.8. 4.2 for healthcare. Alcohol, 4.4. So, housing is still a problem. Now, do crypto markets react on this news? Yes, they do. Here is the reaction right here. You could tell that people are like, all right, cool. Cool. Positivity built in. The problem is, though, is this positivity here, I don't know if it's going to last because of housing. I think that's the biggest issue we got is housing. And we still have it. They even highlighted it on here. The index for shelter was the largest contributor. And I'm going to have to remember NL is Netherlands. God, Klaus, what the hell, man, this morning. Horrible. Oh, man. But yeah, so now that's the thing we're going to... Home prices need to come down. So now here's the home price, all right? And let's zoom in just a little bit more, okay? So let's go to home prices and let's do this from 2020 on. That's what I got up on the screen. So for Eric, here's what you guys talking about, okay? We were expecting this home price trend to equal out somewhere over here. We were hoping for a little bit more of a dip. We had a little bit of a dip, right? Once summer peaked, we had a little bit of a dip here where we went from 300, 308 to 292, but now we're back up over to 301. So housing is not cooling down in the United States. Home inventory rates. See if I can get that one. There's a specific chart I'm looking for. Monthly supply. Yep, this is the one I'm looking at. All right. Here's the issue, and this is what I'm talking about, Eric. Here's your supply issue. So you can see this is the monthly supply of new homes in the United States. If we're not building a lot of new homes, supply is still an issue. If the price of these homes is still high, we have an issue. So we have an increasing overall in the last 2 years of home prices, while we're seeing now a decrease in the available supply. In fact, if you look at it in terms of percentages, 10.1 was the high of last year. So we're talking a year ago. 6.7. So we're a 30% drop in home inventory in 1 year. That is a big, big drop. So we've got a drop in inventory. Prices are staying high. Private equity groups, right? What are they doing? They're using cash to circumvent all these interest rates. And for everyone out there that's like, hey, crypto doesn't move on CPI data, then why do we have a really big green candlestick right here? And why do we have another one right here with XRP? Because crypto moves on macros. Now, what's going to happen, though, is all these people that are trading XRP and XLM, they're going to start reading all of this data in here, and they're going to start going through all of this stuff. Let me see if I can go to shelter. See, they're going to be going through all this, and they're going to start seeing that shelter is not coming down. You're not seeing food come down enough. Food away from home is still way too high. You're also seeing that new cars are still way, way too high. Energy, the energy index rose 0.6% in June after falling 3.6% in May. Gasoline index increased 1.0% in June following a 6% decrease in the previous month. And by the way, as always, any article you see in this video and all my other videos will be linked in the description below. If you're looking for the CPI data, it is actually linked in the description. You're welcome to read this. This basically talks about all the changing in prices, blah, blah, blah. All the different tables and resources reports they have there. But the big thing, though, housing still isn't going down. Housing isn't going down. What's the gold market doing here? Gold is getting a little bit of a pop. Let's see here. Not much. Not much, just a little bit of a move here in gold, so nothing too exciting there on the gold front. Eric says, Klaus, all I hear and see is that everything is increasing, but they're saying it dropped to 3%. It must be supposed big drop in energy prices and gas. And actually, Eric, that's exactly what it is. And these things that you see here, okay? All right, Eric, so you know how, let me get a chart and I'll explain it. All right, so you see how this says 3% right here? It is 3% higher than what it was compared to a year ago. So it's still higher. It's just not as high as fast. And the reason it's 3% and it's not like 8.5 this and this and this is because, yes, food is going down. Yes, used cars have broken. Energy commodities have gone down. Energy services aren't that bad. Electricity is still high. Natural gas went down. But the big thing is you still had housing creating a problem. You still had shelter, transportation services. So yes, we've eroded some of the things, Eric, but the big ones are still there. And that's the thing. That's why you can't get like completely bogged down with this report, because you also have to look at it from a common sense perspective. Erase this report. Take what's on my thing, all right? And it's okay, PD Pure, 12-hour days. Woo. Work at 2 p.m. Well, we appreciate it, PD Pure, for you hanging out with us. But don't get lost in these numbers, because you still have to use the reality test, right? And the reality test is still going to the store, going grocery shopping, buying school supplies for your kids, seeing how expensive it is, seeing how every time gas goes down to $2.89, it jumps right back up again to $3.29. Things are still very, very expensive. Food outside of the home is expensive. When you go to restaurants, bars, stuff like that, they're raising their prices still. That's why food outside of home is high. So yes, have some of the things gone down? Of course they have. But there's still way, way too many things that are up. Let's see, Rodwell Nobrega says, Klaus, if people come through the border, would house prices will stay high? But they would have to get loans for it, and banks are tightening up restrictions. That's the other problem. Lending restrictions are getting tighter. This housing thing is really weird, and it all has to do with private equity groups buying homes, raising the floor price of rent, and screwing people over. This is all about private equity groups. I'm telling you, this is the trend we've seen here in the United States the last 5 years. Heavily in the last 5 years. MG says, crazy how home inventory is low, but you see apartments being built left and right. Yeah, MG, isn't that also true with commercial real estate? We have so many empty buildings, but yet we're building new commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is going to take the nastiest hit. Commercial real estate, especially now with, we talked about it earlier, brick and mortar going away, that's going to be a mess. Tracy says, MG, they need to set up apartments for the 15-minute city living. People can't even afford to get apartments either. They've raised prices for everything before they increase the pay. It screwed the majority of people. And Tracy, that's why Jerome Powell right now is like, yo, what do I do? Okay, look, I know a lot of people don't like Jerome Powell. I know it. I understand it. But you got to think, what is his job? His job is to make the markets work. Not to make the markets green or red, but to make sure that they work, to make sure that there's liquidity, to make sure that there's functionality, normalcy. The problem we got, and Tracy just jumped right into it, all right, is that apartments are expensive. Why are apartments expensive? Because private equity groups bought out the apartment buildings and then raised rates. And the reason private equity groups are able to buy all these homes is because they're using cash. So think, if you're a normal consumer, right, and you want to buy a home, you're paying an just exorbitant amount on interest, right? So almost like half your payment is interest at this point, which means that money that's going to interest isn't going to food. It's not going to your 401k. It's not going to any investment strategies. It's not going to you going out and supporting the economy. It's going to interest, which goes directly to a bank. When private equity swoops into these homes, mobile home parks, multi-family housing units, single-family homes, they come in and they buy all those three. They buy them without any loan. So now here's the best part. So this guy's got this house up for sale, and he's like, yo, I want my house to sell. He's got two offers. He's got an offer from one person who's like, yeah, I've got a bank loan. I'm approved. I'm ready to go. Give me 30 days. We'll get this loan closed. Then he gets another offer from this private equity group over here where this private equity group is like, yo, I'll close tomorrow. I'll give you cash. What do you want to do? If you're the guy selling the home and you know that interest rates are constantly going up and you know that the housing market is getting nastier and nastier, you're taking what you can get. So if you've got two offers, one of them is going to make you wait and it's contingent upon a loan and maybe it's contingent upon them selling their house, and you've got a private equity group person over here who's like, yo, we've got cash, baby. We're ready to roll right now. Hey, do you got any more homes for sale? Because we'll buy those too. Boom, private equity group's going to win. The United States set this up. And what happened is, and for those of you that don't understand private equity groups, I'll give you a real quick explanation. Private equity groups are like the evil, evil child of corporations, right? Think of corporations as like these big just blobs, all right? Private equity groups are people, individuals that probably came from these big blobs that decided to make their own blob, just not as big. All right. So a lot of these private equity groups are smaller blobs. What's really cool about a smaller blob? A smaller blob can move a lot faster than a bigger blob. All right. I did a story. Said the United States is like the Titanic. And yes, it is rolling, Eric, and that's the problem. Right? The United States is so big that we see the iceberg coming towards us and we're like, I don't know, maybe we're going to hit it. No, we're going to hit it, but we're not going to do shit. Private equity groups are like a little speedboat. Private equity groups are like, yo, we see an iceberg coming. Whoa, we go over here. Oh my God, housing prices crashed. Whoa, let's buy a bunch more. Whoa, interest rates went up. Whoa, don't care. We got cash. So these private equity groups are a little bit more nimble than these large corporations. Also because of how they're structured, especially with the not being public, all right? What they're doing is they're able to make decisions faster. Yes, the BlackRock of retail purchasers. Nico, by the way, chiming in. What's up, Nico? Good to see you. Good morning, sir. Effing good news. Yes, effing good news, except for the fact that housing's bad. And I think that's what you're going to see the crypto market react to, is housing being bad. And as long as housing is bad, which again, this is the third report in a row where they mention shelter as being the heavily contributor. And Moshtaba Navavi is saying hello to you, sir. Housing is high. When housing is high, Jerome has to act. And remember, Jerome's job is to make the markets work. So if Jerome is like, okay, housing is high, how do we get housing prices to come down? Just raise rates. He can't do anything else. He can't go to private equity groups, and he can't tell private equity groups, hey, stop buying homes without using loans. You're screwing everyone. He can't do that. There's no laws in the United States stopping private equity groups from buying every home, an apartment, multi-family unit in your neighborhood, and then raising the floor rent. Private equity groups have been buying mobile home parks left and right. And what do you think happens as soon as they buy that home out, that mobile home park? They raise rent rates, don't they? All of a sudden, instead of being $350 a month to put your thing on there, it's $500 a month. Yeah, that's the problem. So as long as housing is out of control, that forces Jerome Powell and the Fed to go, shit, the housing market's really messed up. My job is to make markets work. What is his only choice? Raising rates. So what happens is he raises rates. Private equity groups, remember, private equity groups are that speedboat, right? They see Jerome Powell raising rates, they're like, yeah, yourself, Big Daddy, we got cash, we're good. Meanwhile, the retail, right? The retail people out there looking for homes were like, okay, we don't have $400,000 in cash that we want to put in a home. And most people are like, yo, even if I had $400 in cash, I don't want to put it all in a house. I want to save some of it for cash on the backside. David's here listening from Florida. And thank you, Ben, for listening from work. I saw your comment, Ben. Good job, my good man. So then what happens is he raises rates. What happens? That crushes the retail home buyer. That crushes the everyday home buyer like you and I. Now what happens, and this is why I've talked to Eric about this now for several live streams, why I'm looking at buying another house. The reason I want to buy another house is because if Jerome Powell, and we know what's going to happen, he's going to keep raising rates, that's going to push more retail money out. Which means what, everyone? The only people out there that are going to be really shopping for homes are who? Private equity groups. And again, if we see that inventory is down and private equity groups know they can make money from homes, what do you think private equity groups are going to do? Buy. Whoa. Charles, no, it was a good report, Charles, with the exception that shelter and housing is an absolute mess and Jerome Powell has to raise rates to fix it. And that's what we're talking about now. So now these private equity groups, right? They know. And remember, these private equity, remember, they're nimble like a speedboat, man. Nimble like a speedboat, right? These private equity groups are like, okay, so Jerome Powell is going to have to raise rates now for a while because housing is still way too high, which means we have a bigger window to buy. That's crazy. And what you're seeing with private equity groups here in the United States is a process that's being repeated now in like every other country out there. You're seeing the exact same thing happen. Oh, and no worries, Charles, I got you, man. XRP Crypto S is watching your show from Brisbane, Australia. Another one, Gary Stone from Australia. What's up with all the Australian support? You guys missed my New Zealand foul earlier I made today. It was pretty funny. So now these private equity groups, right? And this is why I'm doing it. So if you're wondering why I'm looking, like, okay, the reason I don't want to put money into crypto right now is I'm saving my money for cash so I can buy a home outright. All right, I want to get a second home outright because I know I can buy it cheap with cash. I know I can find a home, I can fix it, I can renovate it, and I can rent it out and get a shitload for it. To give you an idea, okay, I'll give you an idea just to put things in perspective, all right? I live very, very rurally. I live so rural that there's like a window right here, okay? Like the outside of my studio window is right here. I could literally take any sort of firearm that I could literally shoot out my window and no one will give a crap. Like, that's how rural I am. There's literally like a target out my window that I can like shoot at. Like, it's that rural, okay? Single wide homes, all right? Single wide, mobile, pre-manufactured homes, whatever you want to call them, are renting out here. The small single wides are renting out here for a minimum of $700 a month. I'm talking about your super, super small ones. Super small ones. So the problem is that the floor for even these cheapest ones have gone up. Now, you want to get a 3-4 bedroom home out by me? And again, remember, I live rural. I'm most likely to get abducted by Bigfoot than anything, okay? Like, seriously, like, where I run and stuff, oh my God, you would not, like, people are always, like, scared, like, how do you run there? Like, I live very rural. I live in the middle of, like, the mountains, like, the foothills of the mountains. Like, so I'm surrounded by trees and all this stuff. Homes. They just built 2 homes by me. They're identical, right next to each other. Small lots, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, nothing exciting, kind of cookie cutter. What's up, Robert? I see you. They're renting those homes out for over $2,500 a month. $2,500 a month. And the county that I live in is designated as a low-income national county. And they're in my rural area. We're like literally, I mean, like my neighbors got chickens and goats and like lots of farms out by me. $2,500 and up for small cookie cutter 4-bedroom homes. Bears, yes. When I go hiking up in the Foothills Trail, yeah, I do see bears out there. Where I'm at, we don't get the bears here. The bears are about 30, 40 miles north of me. You start seeing them. Every once in a while, we get like some weird animals that make our way down here, but they usually get them and move them back up. Robert, I'm seeing you, my good man. I'm seeing you. Homie says, got a question. On XRP, if the price is higher, is the burn rate less per transaction? No. No. If the price is higher, the burned amount is more just because the price, converted to fiat, it's more. But the XRP amount is the same. Sorry, I hope that made sense. Let's see, Crypto Asset says the average house goes for $674 a week, which is 19.9 cents up on the year before. And that's totally the problem, man. And Nico likes it. The channel should be named Global Crypto with Klaus. I like that, Nico. I like that because, man, I don't know, U.S. crypto, this channel might not be a good one, right? But that's the issue with housing. Big issue with housing. And the problem with the private equity groups, and I saw this firsthand, and in fact, okay, I'll share with you guys some more insight here. The industry that I was in, I worked for an extremely large corporation. I started off private, and then I went to corporate and blah, 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 right? The industry that I left, right, that I retired from, was starting to be taken over by private equity groups. And they were doing the same thing. So the company that I looked for, okay, the company that I looked for was the biggest in the world. We were the Titanic. The company that I worked for, we saw problems coming at us and we're like, shit, we can't turn this boat fast enough to dodge it. We're going to crash, and boom, we crashed, right? That's just how it works. When you're a massive company, that's what happens. Now, our biggest competitors were private equity groups. We had private equity groups, and it was a whole bunch of executives from the company that I worked for. Left, okay? They left and started their own businesses. Now, here's the messed up thing. I got to be careful because my wife works from home. She's in the other room. My wife works for one of those private equity groups in the industry that I retired from. So my wife now is watching a company which was private, right? Like private small chain, get bought out by a private equity group, a big private equity group. And so now my wife is going through the growing pains of private equity groups taking over a usually corporate run business model. Very, very interesting. Now these private equity groups, what they do though, is they really start cost cutting benefits, letting go staff. They have to. Private equity groups, man, I'm telling you everyone, private equity groups, you got to watch out for this. They are very nimble. They've got a lot of cash, and they're usually very aggressive. Are they as aggressive as your venture capitalists? No, not at all. But they're very aggressive. Robert says 4,500 and up for a place here in Canada, Toronto. Yeah, Canada. Robert, I was watching a YouTuber, one of my favorite YouTubers I was watching yesterday, and he's a Canadian who lives out in Cambodia, and he was visiting his home in Canada. And he was saying how he hadn't lived in Canada for, I think it was like 10 years or something. Or 7 or 10 years. And he said, I don't even know if I feel like Canada's home anymore. He's like, I don't understand the politics. I don't understand the policies. He's like, everything is too expensive. When he left Canada, he said it was still affordable. He said now when he came back, he's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to move back to Canada because it's too expensive. And he said, and so if you wanted to save money in Canada, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Quebec City to a small percentage, you could get around those towns without needing transportation, which would save you money. But the rest of Canada, you need a car, so you need that additional expense on top of housing. So very interesting that you bring it up, Robert, because he said he thought that having not lived in Canada for the last 7 to 10 years, coming back and visiting his family, he's like, I can't afford it here anymore. And I watched him, and I watched like the sadness in him talk about how like this was his home country. He left because his wife does jobs abroad. And he's talking about Canada, his home country, saying, I don't think I'll ever be able to live here again. And that was really sad. That was really, really sad. I'll share a little personal stuff with you. The majority of my family and my wife's family is back up in Chicago. You can tell by my accent, I am not from the South. I am from the North. My wife's family, as well as, what's left of my family up there, up north, is dealing with extremely expensive housing prices. Extremely expensive. My wife was telling me about, her parents, her sister, and cousins, they're in the summer, right? Everyone looks for new homes, new apartments, new condo. You know what I mean, right? Everyone moves in the summer because in Chicago, you don't want to move when it's slushy winter. And I'm going to get to your comments, guys. I see it. I'm going to get to your comments. I just want to tell a story. And so everyone in Chicago is a big moving season in the summer. Well, so my wife, like I said, she's got several family members and friends that are looking at moving, upgrading places and so forth. And a couple of them have re-signed leases. They've re-signed leases at a higher rate because there's nothing out there, and what was out there was crazy expensive. It's not good. Let's get to the comments. Ben says, I'm looking for more mobile homes to put in my park. Simply can't afford the corporate housing prices. Ben, it's bad, man. It is seriously bad, Ben. It's so, I don't know. It's sad because this isn't going to stop. Private equity groups are like small, evil versions, more evil versions of corporations. And the fact that they are nimble is what really screws a lot of people over. Crypto Ninja says, afternoon, Klaus, what's the news today? The news today is this. CPI data came in good in a statistical sense. We came in at 3.0. Previous month was 4.0. The bad, though, is that they highlighted housing. Oh, my God. John Christensen. What did you just say? John Christensen. Name off some more towns, John Christensen. Oh, shit. Come on, John Christensen. Name off some more towns. All right. Hey, John Christensen. I will tell you, I went to a very special school in one of the cities that you mentioned. You mentioned the city of Downers Grove. I went to Avery Cooley School in Downers Grove. So John Christensen, I know exactly where you're talking about. I actually was a Lyle Naperville guy. My parents lived in Wheaton. I actually played indoor soccer at Glen Ellen Sports Arena. That's what it was called back then. So there you go, John Christensen. I know exactly what you're talking about. Lombard, better believe I rode my motorcycle 150 miles an hour on 355 past Lombard. Oh, that's right. I know exactly what I'm talking about because I used to do really bad, shady stuff out there. No, I'm not a Calumet Berwyn guy. I'm not. I was a western suburb guy, and I like the city. Just throwing it out there. Rodwell says, Klaus, I like your education analysis. Thank you very much. Nico says, stock pre-market prices are rocketing. They are, but check this out. This is what scared me on the crypto thing. All right? We saw the pump when the announcement was made. Here's the announcement pump, and it has gone down even lower. Why has it gone down lower? It's because of housing, because the market knows that Jerome Powell and the Fed is going to drop another rate hike on us. So people out there, and I know what's going to happen, they're going to go in the comments, and they're going to flood the comments. They're going to be like, but Klaus, you said a juicy CPI data means that Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to take a break. And I was like, yes, I did. But I also said if there's another shelter note, that's why I kept reading it, that the shelter note would do, boom, more damage than anything. And that's exactly what happened. Naperville, one rural to another old farm towns. Yeah, Naperville, man. It's crazy stuff. That whole area just grew up. Tracy said, I left Illinois in 2009, never came back. Charles Horn said, I fled Elk Grove Village 6 years ago to Texas. Seriously, we left Illinois 13 years ago? 10, 11, 12? Something like that. We left Illinois to go to South Carolina. We went to the coast. Then we went from South Carolina. We went to Iowa, South Dakota, North Carolina, and now back in South Carolina. So yeah, we get it. We did. We left Illinois too for that reason. But right now, you're seeing some massive pressure to the downside on top of what we saw, or more so than what we saw in the original bump with the housing note. Tent cities popping up everywhere, not just big cities. Robert, I traveled to DC a few months ago. DC is one of my favorite cities to visit. I traveled to DC, and DC's got a lot of money. For those of you who have not been to DC, DC is filled with money. It's disgusting. It's global money. And the tent towns that I saw in DC were bigger and way more frequent. In fact, you're seeing tents in like DuPont Circle. And if you haven't been to DuPont Circle, it's a very, very nice area. Little white tablecloth, floor-to-ceiling windows, looking outside DuPont Circle while you're eating all your fancy food. DuPont Circle had tents in it. So as people are eating like $100 meals, there's like a tent right next to them, and that's in DC. So I totally get what you're talking about. You're seeing them all over the place. All over the place. But right now, you are definitely seeing more market softness. It's because they're digesting the information regarding housing. Now, one of you had made a comment up here, and I'm going to get back to it because it was a really nice comment, and I thought it was really, really nice of you to say. Let me see this. This is from Lee Anderson. Klaus, you have been in my living room for years. My family considers you as family. Or my family considers you as family. God, I can't read today. Great soul, and your content is fire, bro. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Lee. That's legit. So, Lee, you get a gold star as well, man. That's a very, very heartfelt, legit comment. Yeah, and Nico, it is capitalism. But the problem is, Nico, is that capitalism is not a bad thing, okay? Capitalism is not bad. Greed, it incites competition. Competition excites and leads to innovation. Competition also leads to price control, right? If more people come into the space and add competition, prices normally come down. Now, the problem we got, though, Nico, is that this capitalism that we have, especially in the United States, and honestly, it's mimicked all around the globe, the capitalism that we have is not restricted, and it's also heavily encouraged, and the rules that are there are to protect people with money. And you're going to be like, well, Klaus, you're a little jaded. Okay, hear me out. In the early 2000s, there was a bill, a law that came out in the United States, okay? And it had to do with write-offs for vehicles, all right? And I'm just going off of memory here. It was early 2000s. I know some of you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And what the bill was made for, it was made for farmers to buy heavy-duty vehicles and trucks, right, over a certain weight. I don't remember if it was like 6,000 pounds, I don't remember what the weight, but there was a weight. It was like any vehicle over this, you could write off X amount. It was an insane amount. So it was meant so that if farmers bought like a Chevy 3500, they could write off more of it, right? Because it'd be like a farm towing vehicle. Or if they bought like a heavy tractor, just stuff like that, okay? There was a law that was passed. What happened was a ton of rich people saw that law, and you know what they did? They bought Escalades for their business. And then they wrote them whole damn things off higher than what they could have before the law was passed. So then what happened was you had a whole bunch of rich people that bought Escalades, right? They needed money. You had to have the money first. So again, something that benefits the rich. They bought the Escalades. Then they were able to write off even more, making the Escalades even cheaper. Come on now. That was a rule specifically designed for farmers, that the rich and elites that had money, that didn't mind buying Hummer H2s, because that was another vehicle people bought during that time, the Escalades, the Denali's, all that kind of stuff. People abused that law. I got you, Lee. And thank you for the nice comment, Lee. That was really cool of you. Enrique says, good morning from Rancho Margarita, California. Any crypto comedy. It's... The comedy with crypto right now is that until we get some more money moving in, we're going to be running into problems. We're going to be running into problems. Yeah. X Game Rider was 6,000 pounds. Thank you. And that was the whole deal. And it was this law. And you had people out there. Seriously, you had like, that's okay. Before that law passed, the idea of like soccer moms and moms driving like big Denali's and Escalades and Hummers, that wasn't like a thing. It was the minivan moms. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was minivan mom time. And then when they made that new bill that came out, all of a sudden those moms were like, yo, we could get an Escalade and write off like 50, 90% of it. Done, let's do it. So now that $60,000, $70,000 Escalade at the end only cost them $20,000. Rich people games, everyone. Rich people games. XRP Crypto Asset chimes in and says they need to ban short trading by the insiders. Good point. Good point. You know what else they need to do? They also need to ban naked shorting, where you don't have enough to cover it. That is very, very bad. The other thing that we need to see too is we need to see wash trading. Wash trading needs to go, everyone. Wash trading right now is providing, in my opinion, one of the worst sources of hopium out there is wash trading. If you were to look at volumes of these cryptos, I think it would scare you how low the volumes really are if you took out wash trading. I really do. I really do. Wash trading provides this example of like power, of like oomph, of money, of want, of desire. But wash trading's fake. So you're creating like a fake market demand, right? And if demand goes up, whether it's created by real or fake stuff, you can manipulate price. DVR says the next Black Swan event, insider trading will be exposed. But you know what though? Wasn't insider trading exposed with Pelosi's husband and no one gave a crap? Right? Pelosi's husband is like the best stock trader in the world. Like, aren't his returns like 5-6 times higher than like the best hedge funds out there? I mean, isn't it something crazy like that? So I mean, we know the insider trading happens, and in fact, yeah. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me show you guys something. Shit. Hold on. I gotta do this. So give me a second here. I gotta show this for you guys. This has to deal with it. Let me go to notifications. Give me a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can find a post. I did a story on it, and I'm trying to see if I can find the person's name. But whatever it was, the guy is doing... Here, I can do this. Hold on. Coinbase deleted tweets. All right, so there is a guy on Twitter right now who's recovering all the tweets from Brian Armstrong. All right, I'm trying to find... Yeah, Predator. Here we go. I've got it. I knew I could find it sooner or later. But there's this guy, Predator, who's finding all the tweets from Brian Armstrong, okay? All the deleted ones. Now, Brian Armstrong's total scumbag. Do not think he's here to protect crypto. Girlfriend. But anyways, what they've got, right, is they've got all these tweets that he's deleted, okay? What's interesting about this is one of the tweets on here, and there's a lot of them. There's so many pages. He's got a main page. I got to see if I can find it. But he's got a tweet in here which says he tweeted out rules for insider trading on Coinbase like a day after some product was launched. Okay? Basically saying, hey guys, I know you insider traded it, but we didn't have a rule on the books. That's up. That is really, really up. What's really messed up is for those of you out there that think Armstrong is there to protect the crypto industry, here's a tweet from Brian Armstrong, which he deleted. He deleted it, right? Because if you delete something, it didn't happen, right? Isn't that how that works? Here's what Brian Armstrong said. Ripple, Stellar, and altcoins are all a distraction. Bitcoin is way too far ahead. We should be focused on Bitcoin and side chains. This is from Brian Armstrong, who wants to sell crypto to you even though he doesn't believe in any of it. He does not. Now, the other problem we had, and like I said, I have no problem going after him. No problem going after, because this guy's a scumbag. I mean, this is not good. Here's another tweet from Charlie Lee. Litecoin volume is over 10 million. I think it's time we let people easily buy Litecoin with fiat on Coinbase. Yeah. So what happened is you had a whole bunch of these crypto companies out here. And this is all dealing with insider trading. You had a whole bunch of these exchanges that were like, yo, we're going to launch SHIB on June 30th. Well, what do you think everyone did inside the exchanges? They went out, they bought SHIB elsewhere, so that when it was launched on Coinbase and the price popped up, they could sell it right away. You know how much insider trading there was going on with all these crypto exchanges? Disgusting amounts. I am still to this day, I am on a mission now for 2 years to get a hold of one person. I have found that person. They do not want to talk to me. I'm trying to get them to talk to me. But it was a person who, while they were in college, 2015, 2014, 2016, around that time period, 2013 maybe even, wrote a whole bunch of letters regarding crypto. Very nasty letters of how crypto was going to people over. How these devs were going to do this and this and this. How once money gets moved onto crypto, people will lose control because the coders are going to have control. He wrote about all this before this happened, and he was an early builder on the Stellar chain. Like I said, I found him. I know where he lives. I've reached out to him. He won't get back to me. I wonder why. But the whole premise behind his writings, and he wrote this in college. A young guy in college, he wrote this, talking about how you're going to have all these hacks. You're going to have exploits. You're going to have fake hacks, which were actually internal things, where people said, hey, guess what? They're going to do this, this, and this. Yeah. He predicted all of this that's happening right now. I did a story yesterday. Second exploit on the same chain. The hackers are winning. The internal trading are winning. Nico says they charge like $5 million just to list your token, so it makes sense they will fudge the numbers to justify the listing fee you did. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So what's happening now? Oh, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Here's the tweet. I found it, everyone. Oh, baby, baby. This is the problem. So yes, I love crypto. Trust me, I love it. I love crypto, Web3, blockchain technology. I do not like the industry and the scumbags that are in it. So if you wonder why I'm not a total hopium junkie, it's because these disgusting scumbags are ruining it. Here's a tweet. Number 10. The day before Coinbase engineer Charlie Lee announced he sold all of his Litecoin, Brian tweets out Coinbase's employee trading policy. Come on. Come on. Yeah, good point. Thank you, John, for being that. Armstrong Coinbase never paid out Flare Songbird holders to XRP holders from 1220. You know how much XRP he has on the books? A ton. He's got over 1 billion XRP on the books. Brian Armstrong, this is. Coinbase, by the way. Coinbase, yes. Coinbase has over 1 billion XRP. Morning to you, Chris. So, more and more examples, all right? More examples of shadiness in here. Now, here's some of the other problem, okay? Some of the other problem we have is a lot of these guys, let's talk about securities really quick. Oh, John, he screwed more than XRP holders. He screwed a lot of people, but he really did screw over XRP holders. Here's another one, right? And remember, what's Gary Gensler's biggest thing when it comes to securities? Expectations of profit, common enterprise. You guys get what I'm talking about. Here's another one. Brian hyping up 4% ETH pump after Coinbase listed it. Brian posted 5-minute chart, rocket ship emojis, and moon emojis. Gary Gensler, the SEC, and yes, courts have held this up. Rocket ship emojis and chart emojis were used to outline securities expectation of profit. So you've got Brian Armstrong here, right? Doing a little bit of rocket ship emoji. Doing a little bit of, ooh, we're going to pump, we're going to get to the moon. That's Brian Armstrong. So Brian Armstrong was tweeting about speculative growth. He knew what he was doing. He knew this whole damn time. And now he's trying to cover his tracks. If you're an exchange, hold up, now let me just be real here. If you're an exchange, should you be hoping that certain products go up and down? No. You should just hope that they're tradable. Your job as an exchange is not to make sure things go up. Your job is to make sure that you can offer the best price for this product at a very timely execution, to make markets work, not to make certain products win or lose, but to make markets work. So even back then, Brian Armstrong covering up his tweets. I mean, I don't know. It's really shady stuff. Insider trading. And you could go through all these. All right? I mean, whatever. It's just a joke. It really is a joke. John says he should drop Bitcoin and Ethereum. He won't. If you look at here, and I'll show you why. Coin market cap. I spend a lot of time like dorking out on this kind of stuff because I like math. I like numbers. Go to Coinbase real quick here. All right, so we're going to go to Coinbase and we're going to look at volume. All right. Here's the thing. Look at the trading pairs. Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's a lot. There is no way he would remove Bitcoin and Ethereum. His top trading pair is Bitcoin to USD, and that's 40% of his volume right now. And we know Coinbase's volume sucks. So 40%, if you go now with their top two pairs, 52% of their volume is in a pairing of Bitcoin and Ethereum to the USD. Co91 Diabolic. Yes, CPI data is out. Rodwell says, I like your facts and no opium. Thank you very much. CPI data did come out. Came out at 3.0. Very, very juicy. There's a problem, though. Even though data came out at 3.0, housing was still high. With housing still high, Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to raise rates. That is why you're seeing the market trying to digest this shit. It's a complete, absolute mess right now. Because now people are thinking, well, wait a minute. Is he going to raise rates on this month, or is he going to do it in the next one? Because remember, Jerome Powell meets in a few weeks. Big, big problem. Nico says all exchange owners are the same. Yeah, it's totally true. So like when Binance is out there, and I keep doing stories about Binance, Binance is faking the funk too. Binance is totally lying. There's a reason why Binance US is depegging. They do not have one-to-one assets. They don't. There is a reason why Bitcoin on Binance US was $3,000 less. Because everyone's selling, no one's buying, they don't have everything. Yeah, it's a big, big problem. Big, big problem. One of the biggest problems we have here is this douchebag, Brian Armstrong. Oh, I'm out here fighting for crypto. No, you're not. You're lining your pockets. He's been selling Coinbase stock left and right, making himself piss-ass rich. Not listing XRP. We know how that goes. He still has over $1 billion of XRP in the holdings for Coinbase. They still got lots of bags. I mean, come on now. This is Brian Armstrong. We should increase the block size. Shut up. I mean, whatever. Very, very frustrating. So that's the deal with the market right now. 3% came out with CPI data. Oh, Moshaba Navadi says, the only way to fix all this mess is to go through a recession. Yes, I just still don't think we're in one because the data doesn't show it. Moshaba, you're right. If you want improvement to come in the United States and most places in the world, you need it to come from negativity, right? Think about this. When do you hear for the most gun control laws? It's after a shooting. When did we hear about crypto regulation being important? After the FTX crash, right? It's after a disaster that we start reacting to stuff. Why? Because it goes to what I said in the beginning. The U.S. is the Titanic. We see the disaster coming, but we ain't getting out of the way. We see it coming. We're going to call. Yeah, that's the United States. So, Moshaba, you are right. The negativity will allow for the growth and the rebirth of a new thing. You have to shake the junk out. And there is junk in the market. Nico chiming in, side note, DXY dumping nicely at 100 now. DXY has been holding fairly strong, though. Stronger than I thought. But thank you, Nico, for sharing that. That is the big issue. Yes, recession, I get it. Yes, I get it. And recession, though, is going to have a bigger impact on crypto. Because remember, crypto is risky. When something is risky, you only spend money on it if you got a lot of money, right? When money printer go burr. In a recession, money printer ain't going burr. Not going burr at all. DVR says, any thoughts on the creation of Bitcoin? Who came up with Bitcoin's SHA-256 encryption? How many Satoshis are there? Good question. The creation of Satoshi, that's, okay. The creation of Bitcoin with Satoshi is a very scary thing because if you don't know someone who controlled something, you don't know what their intentions are, right? I mean, think about it. Someone like me, okay? Give someone like me a pistola, right? Pancho Pistola. I'm not going to do anything bad with it. Yeah, I might go shoot out my window, and shoot my targets outside, but I'm not going to commit any crimes with it. Now, other people, when you give them a pistola, oh yeah, we got poutine. I could use some poutine right now. Other people, when they have a pistola, they do crimes with it, right? So it's not the pistola that's the problem, it's the person. So when it comes to the whole idea of Satoshi and Bitcoin, it's the same thing. Who's holding the pistola? Is it someone who's going to do something good with it? Or someone who's going to do something bad with it? See, this is kind of all we have to think about, because that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power to be owning all of that Bitcoin. Oh, and Chris says the best beer in the world, Labatt Blue. I think Chris is chiming in on Labatt Blue. I got you, Chris. I got you. No, Canada is pretty legit. Quebec City is my favorite by far. I love Quebec City next to Rainy Lake. Charles Horn says precisely, this is why I can never put my actual money into Bitcoin. I understand it's gone up, may again, but I don't trust it won't be the biggest rug pull. And that's the thing, Charles, is when you look at market caps. Let's go to coin market cap, okay? Let's look at market caps real quick. And let's go to the cryptos, okay? So we're going to go to cryptos and we're going to talk about market caps, okay? So we're going to go to ranking. If everyone right now, if everyone wanted Labatt 50 is better. if everyone right now, and for my Australian fans, all right? I love me some Fosters. Okay, so it's not just Labatt Blue in Canada. I love me some Australian Fosters. But if we look at market cap, okay? Right now, the XRP market cap is 24 billion. If everyone were to sell their XRP right now, the price wouldn't stay and you wouldn't get 24 billion. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. You wouldn't get anywhere near that. There is no one-to-one liquidity when it comes to market cap. All market cap is the number of coins that are out there multiplied by their price. But we know if people start selling, the pricing will be. So the market cap you're seeing really isn't the money that's in crypto. And I'm with you on that. I am nervous about Bitcoin. I'm nervous about Bitcoin because you're seeing now a more Niver, hello from the Netherlands, everyone. I got it right this time. Thank you, Niver. Hello from the Netherlands. Hello back to you. But when it comes to, like Bitcoin and all that, I think that's a big concern because you have now countries going full steam putting money into Bitcoin holdings. You have companies out there. Foster beer is Rue Piss. Yeah, but Rues are freaking jacked, man. So if I got to drink Rue Piss to get jacked, dude, I'm going to do it. Those things are freaking huge. PM says they hardly drink Foster's. They export it to the Brits. Very well done. Very well done. But you've got entire companies out there that are putting Bitcoin on their books. Elon's got crypto on his books. Sailor's got crypto on his books. Got a bunch of Bitcoin miners out there that hold that stuff. So the longer that Bitcoin kind of gets this adoption and support, that gets really scary because that bubble just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Very big. Oh, American beer is like sexy canoe, getting close to water. That's a good joke, Robert. Okay, everyone, hold on. Robert's getting a pin, everyone. All right, everyone go to the top of the chat and see the pin that I just put up there. By far, the best joke. Thank you, Robert. That was really good. Mr. Cardenza says, where are the people from North Dakota from? I don't think that many people live in North Dakota. Unless ND is... What country would ND be? I'm going to say North Dakota because I lived in South Dakota. So when I see ND, I think North Dakota right away. He's not wrong about Foster's. If in the next 15 minutes the crypto market doesn't pump a Wall Street open, it means there's zero liquidity. There is zero liquidity. Totally true. Totally true. Liquidity is a big problem. Okay, I'm going to talk real specifically here about Stellar and liquidity, okay? Liquidity, there's a couple ways you have to think about liquidity, all right? Liquidity can be something as simple as there's not a lot of money locked up. That could be pretty simple, okay? Not a lot of money locked up. There's not a lot of liquidity. There could be liquidity from a lot of people not trading or a lack of liquidity, right? Hey, if everyone bought but doesn't want to sell, you have a liquidity issue, don't you? You also can have a liquidity issue if demand is crazy but supply isn't there through various means. Stellar has a massive liquidity issue. There's not a lot of selling with Stellar. There's not. Well, Stellar's a lot of buy and hodl. So when you have a lot of buy and hodl, you don't have a lot available on the market. Something to keep on. Definitely liquidity problem. And there's a cash problem. Scott Wilson says Foster's isn't imported to Britain. It's brewed in Britain. You rarely find Foster's in Australia.
So they were lying to us all those times with those Foster's Australian beer commercials. Oh, it was kind of like, I think Heineken is like that. Heineken's another one, like imported from here or whatever. Yeah, Heineken's another one like that. Co91 Diabolics is hello from Italy. Hello to you, sir. Chris B says Americans have Bud Light. Chris B, we sent that shit back. When that shit was delivered, we put a stamp on it. Return that to sender. Don't want it. Ugh. But yeah, I'm with you on that. We're going to wait to see if we're going to see the market mimic the stock market right now. XRP, XLM, both still trying to figure out what the hell is going on, but both far down. Both far, far down. Charles Horn says, from what I've read, 50% have rated their 401ks, and most are putting their liquidity from that into money markets. I can see that. I can definitely see that. I cashed out a heavy portion of my 401k to diversify into other things that I had more control over. Best decision I ever made in my life. Best decision I've ever made in my life. I get 401ks. I get the power of them. They're super easy. But yeah, I did. I pulled a lot of money out of 401k and did my own thing, and I've been way happier since. Way, way happier since. Robert Melvin says, I was down there and no self-respecting Aussie drinks that Foster's crap. Thank you so much. Look, I'm more affected by American decision in Dubai because of the dirham AED UAD currency that is pegged to the US dollar. Anything in that happens US directly affects me. And Moshaba, that's part of the problem too, is that US politics, US law is carrying over into global financial markets, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. That's horrible because you know what? And Moshtaba, we'll take this a step further. I did a story. So it was wintertime. It was wintertime. So 6-7 months ago, somewhere in there, I did a story and it had to do with central banks. And what a lot of countries do in the Middle East, your Gulf countries, okay? What they do is they mimic what the Fed does. So if Jerome Powell and the Fed come out and they're like, yo, we're going to hit you with the 25 basis point hit, these Middle Eastern countries, these Gulf countries are like, we're doing the same thing. Done. A lot of these countries, there's actually a lot of countries around the world that just mimic what the Fed do. Whatever the Fed does, they do it. And so I'm very glad that you shared that, Mushtaba, because you're right. Bad U.S. policy is affecting people like yourself all over the world. And thank you for saying that, because that's why I'm really liking doing this story, or this channel, is because people are being affected globally and we're being affected differently by policy. U.S. policy should not affect your financial holdings, sir, and that is wrong. That is very wrong. Mushtaba chimes in, thank you always for sharing the news, whether it's good or bad. I appreciate it. Yeah, no hopium here. No sense in hopium. There's no reason to be hopium right now filled. There's no money. Co91 Diabolic says, when do you think the top of the bull run will be? When should I sell my XLM bought at 7 cents? Your guess is as good as mine now. I don't see any news telling us that there's a run in any near-term future. There's no cash for a run. Think about it. Everyone out there, okay, when I've been covering now XLM for a while, okay, and I'll zoom out a little bit, all right? I've been covering XLM, and I remember around November when we broke through that 40-cent mark, and we're like, oh, I remember this rally right here. Whoa, daddy, that's too much. I remember this rally specifically in November. I was at a pumpkin patch, and we were roaring. XLM was getting close to hitting 45 cents, all right? And everyone was like, oh, my God, we're going to break through. What happened was then we really, really sank down, right? I mean, like, we really sank down. Then when XLM was under 30 cents, people were like, yo, it's under 30 cents? How is it this cheap? People were buying tons of it at 40 cents. Then people didn't want to buy it at 30. Now we scroll back, right? Come even more, and it's the same thing. Now we're at 19 cents. Scroll even further, and now we're at like 12 and a half. Now we're at 10. Now we're at 11. Now we're at 9. My point is, though, is right now, there's nothing positive to drive the market. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever right now to drive the market. Recession fears. means there's not going to be a lot of money. If there's not a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money to buy crypto, right? Okay, makes sense. Recession fears, which means layoffs, right? Companies cutting their costs. Well, if there are layoffs, you're not going to have a job, right? So again, it goes back to crypto. You're not going to have the money for it. So, I don't know. I can't even paint a picture at a bull run until we get a new administration in, which would give us better crypto regs in the United States, and until we get out of the idea of even pausing rate hikes and we start lowering rate decisions. Yeah, Nico, thank you so much. Nico says, man, just sell when you feel happy with your gains. I'm with you right there. I did. I sold gold. Tons and tons of gold. Tons and tons of gold. When gold rallied above 2,000, I was selling. I told everyone. I did videos about it. When this was gold's move right here, I sold. I told everyone about it. I didn't care about people telling me, oh, but Klaus, gold is going to get to 4,000. I didn't care. I made good money. I made good hits. I don't care if you're holding. I don't care if you buy and sell. Do what's right for you. And what's right for you is different than everyone else. I'm happy I sold. I sold all my gold. Every gold position I had, I sold. I sold it. And I sold it and I'm happy because it went down afterwards. I'm in the green. I'm good to go. Trump is not the biggest crypto fan. And the reason Trump is not the biggest crypto fan, Scott, is because he's been public about his fears in terms of dethroning the power of the dollar. That's Trump's fears. It's dethroning the power of the dollar. Now, outside of the Trump camp, you have a lot of Republicans that are very pro-crypto. DeSantis is big on crypto, and he's, presidential candidate. So it's not just Trump. But now if Trump knows, hey, I got to get the crypto bros in to help me out, I don't see anything wrong with that. Chris B says, growth in crypto will come from institutional buying and new retail. Remember, we are the 1%. And that's true. It's the bump in crypto is going to come from institutional money, venture capital, and private equity groups. Private equity groups. Oh, I hate private equity groups. But right now, there's no reason. And so I guess that's what I'm trying to say to everyone right now is do what's right for you. Do what's right for you. For us getting back to this 40 cent, 30 cent, 20 cent, we have a hell of a hill to climb. A hell of a hill to climb. In fact, there's two lines up on my screen right here, okay? This top line here is the price of XLM when it crashed at FTX time. All right? Right here. XLM is cheaper than FTX crash. So all of this has been a long time for people that want to buy, sell, blow it up, whatever you want to do. You've had a whole bunch of time here under 10 cents to just load up. Buying XLM at a discount of 30, 40, 50, 70 cents. So if these prices are this low and it's still not popping up, there's just no money to pop it up. Money is going elsewhere. Money, I'll be honest with you. A lot of money left crypto and went into AI. A ton of money left crypto and went into AI. I have been reading so many. Actually, I'm going to look that up, Nico. Thank you for bringing that up. I have read so many stories here recently about... hold on, I'm just going to look at the schedule real quick here. I have so many stories about crypto and retail and growth, and there's just not enough money, guys. There's just not enough. Okay, hold on. I've got new. Nico just asked, when's the stablecoin bill vote? It's going to be an upvote, but I'm looking for the hearings. Okay, so we have potential consequences of FinCEN. Here we go. Hearing entitled Oversight of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance. Let's see what we got for this one. Subcommittee on Capital Markets. They don't have any details there. Oversight Proxy Advisor. Let's see if they have anything on markups for schedule. No, they do not have anything yet, Nico, for the stablecoin bill vote. There's nothing right now in markups, and there is nothing right now in hearings. The only one for the hearing is July 18th, oversight of the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance. That's the only thing that's kind of even quasi there right now. So, no, nothing to see it, Nico, though when it does come out, I'll do a video about it because seriously, that's what we're all waiting for. We're all waiting for the vote. The vote is supposed to take place in July. What happens is if it passes through the House Financial Services Committee, it then will go on to the full session of the House. If it passes the full session of the House, it'll go to the Senate. Once it goes to the Senate, it's dead. The Senate is Democratic controlled. They will not approve of a Republican-based bill, which is mostly Republican support. So look for that bill to die in the Senate unless somehow magically we get a few people from the Democratic side that are super pro-crypto. Super pro-crypto. That's the only chance we have. But as of right now, everyone's been quiet. Tomba Tundell says, good morning, boss. I'm from Canada. I like your show because you like to share good news and bad news. That's how news is supposed to be. And thanks for streaming this morning, man. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Tomba. I'll admit it. My channel is not going to grow big. I'm not like other channels out there that publish all sorts of bullshit articles. Like all the ISO articles. Come on, you know how many of those are fake and lies? There are some big channels out there. Some big channels that are very popular that post nothing but totally like forged articles. Oh. Muleshoe05 says, I'm pissed here. US dollar to Mexico peso is dropping. Cost me more money in beer. That's not good. Hey, Twitch is here, everyone. Morning to you, Twitch. So here's the deal with what we're going to do. We're going to end the stream at 9:45 a.m. I got to get some food in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up for you. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, now is your time to put them in. We're going to keep the chat open for another few more minutes. 9:45 a.m. and time, Eastern time. 9:45 a.m. 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. God, hold on. Eastern time. There we go. 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. Well, okay, so Scott says, like Crypto Geek in his Trust Me Bro sources. Yes. I'm not saying specifically him, but yes, all of the Trust Me Bro sources, or all of these were like, they say like they mentioned Ripple, and they're like, oh, they're going to use XRP, or a Ripple partner. That doesn't mean shit. Partnerships don't mean shit. Co91 Diabolic says, can XLM hit $5? You need way more money, dude. You need way more money to to make that price go up. Oh, Chris, I know, but I'm in my recovery day, so I have to eat early on my recovery days. This is my recovery day. So, but I get what you're saying, Chris. You're right. Intermittent fasting. I'm with you. Twitch says, what was CPI information that came out today? I just got here. All right. Here's the breakdown for you. CPI data came out at 3.0, down 1.0 from the month before. Yes, that is good news. And when that announcement was made for the data, XLM did pop. Let's get to the charts right here and take a quick look at it. XLM did pop. Hold on. Right here on that data. Then digested it, came back, digested it, came back, still trying to work through. The scary part here is Shelter. The index for Shelter was the largest contributor to all monthly items increase for over 70% of the increase. So if Shelter is still high, what's going to happen is that puts more pressure on Jerome Powell to raise rates because housing is still too high. And housing right now is the biggest negative thing affecting people's budgets, right? Their household budgets, because home prices are so much, housing, shelters so much. So this is putting heavy pressure on Jerome Powell and the Fed to raise rates. So Twitch Radio, that's exactly what happened right now. We got a juicy report in terms of the raw data numbers, okay? The gross numbers. We got a really juicy report regarding that. 3.0. 3.0 is juicy. We like 3.0. The problem is with Shelter still too high and private equity groups screwing everything up, we are going to have to get more rate hikes to bring it down. More to bring it down. Moshaba says, I'm just going to keep on DCA until I have 10,000 XLM and wait for it to hit my target. I don't care how long it takes. Good for you, man. Good for you. Moshaba says, Klaus, thanks, I got home from a 15-hour shift, so good night and thank you. Thank you too, sir, for watching. And thank you for sharing, Moshaba, your insight on how U.S. politics and U.S. finances are affecting you personally. And you don't even live anywhere near the United States. So thank you for putting like a face to it and emotion to it, because I like not that I like it, but I'm glad that you shared it with me. It just saddens me that U.S. politics and U.S. financial junk affects you directly. So, but thank you though for chiming in. Twitch Radio says, well, commercial real estate pretty freaking high, about to come off a cliff. Yeah, I know. Commercial real estate's done. Commercial real estate is going to just die. It really is. You just need one little incident to push commercial real estate right off the edge. That's all you need right now. Oh, man. Crypto Ninja says, thank you. Well, thank you, Crypto Ninja. Gold, by the way, is making the move today, everyone. It looks like gold, yep. Gold went up on that. Why? Because we know what's going to happen. Jerome Powell and the Fed, baby. So when I put these dates out, hey, that the market is going to move, blah, 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 that's why it happens. The market does move on macros. Eric says, Klaus, any update on Zoom meetups yet? Haven't come up with anything yet, Eric, mainly because I have been training like nonstop 24/7. I have been non-stop training, man. Like, all my free time has been in training and puppies, because I rescued 2 puppies. U.S. affects all NATO countries. Robert Melvin says, another great stream. Klaus, thank you, Robert. And Eric, keep bugging me on the Zoom thing. Eric, I do want to do a live stream, though, on how we can use a P&L to start looking at where to attack problems. I think that's the next evolution. We've gone over the basics of a P&L, but next is, how do you use this data to then determine where you should go after problems? And how to develop ratios. Because how you determine problems is not by the ratios given on a P&L, it's by the ratios you extract from a P&L. And that's a big thing. This is probably a good one. We should probably do that. Chris says, have a great day, Klaus. Time to make some fiat money and top off the bags. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Twitch has let us know I got my silver, gold, and platinum ready. Yes, that is the gold chart. That's the gold chart. Yes, I got your back, Eric. Gold chart up here on the screen, buddy. The announcement went from 1940 to 1959. That's where we're at right now. CPI data, everyone. All right, what I'm going to do right now is I am going to put the heat map up on the screen. You know the deal. I'm also going to put some tunes on. You know the deal. What I'm going to do is make sure, I'm going to be hanging out on the chat. Make sure, please make sure. Oh, sorry, my throat is starting to roast. Make sure that you say hello and goodbye to everyone out there. Remember, this is a group. This is a team. So what I am going to do is I'm going to hang out in the chats. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Make sure you guys say goodbye to everyone else in chat. I'll catch you guys later.
Whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here.